notebook is the cemetery information I was looking at that Joni picked up from Sue.
Oh, okay.
That's what that is.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right, you guys all set?
Sure.
Calling meeting to order at 7:01. First up on the agenda, Sarah, welcome back.
Thank you. So, Jeremy asked me to come back and talk about more about mosquitoes, which you better watch out, I can talk forever about mosquitoes.
Yes, 10 minutes.
This is a picture of what we found today out on the salt marsh. It's a lot. That's the salt marsh behind the sewage treatment plant. And they're probably going to be hatching in 10 days. But I also included the second page, which I don't mean to bore you with scientific names, but those are all the mosquitoes the state will test, and every one of them we can find here in Newfields, or we have found here in Newfields. We trapped at your house, we took those 2 traps out and caught all black flies, which is no surprise. It's very typical in April, but you know, there are mosquitoes that hibernate. They will come out on a warm March day or a warm April day. Many species can do that. They hide in a garage or a barn, even in wood piles under tarps, and they come out for long days. But the new mosquitoes that are still in the water haven't yet hatched, but they're on the verge. So it's hard to say what bit your son.
Your problem, it was that like one morning day where we had the door to, like the doors were open in the house, and so it probably was something that had hibernated. But
Yeah.
that, it was one of those black stripy ones,
Yeah.
just like what I,
And particular species will hibernate, and they're on that list, the state's list for testing and curing diseases. So, you know, gone are the days when mosquitoes were just a nuisance. They're almost all of them are disease threat. So, you know, it's hard to say what bit them, and we don't normally see too much disease activity in the early part of the season. Jamestown candy is one of those diseases that occurs in early growth. Right now, the state doesn't plan to test those mosquitoes, but that could change in the near future with, you know, funding that the state may get. But, you know, I know you can't just make money up here, so we're probably going to have to suffer through the summer. Because right now, there's, you know, the money's been cut to take care of the salt marshes. I don't know that there's anything that can be done now to reverse that, but they hatch probably every 2 weeks. Flood tides and rainfall, and they are aggressive. All of us live within range of those mosquitoes. If you live anywhere on this road, you're going to feel the impact. And, you know, crews are out spraying fresh water. They've already sprayed the swamp right next to your house twice.
I saw where they got back out there.
Yeah,
Yep.
he's already hit that whole stretch twice already because it started to dry up and we got the rain. So we monitor these freshwater sites constantly. And we're servicing Exeter and Stratham, so we're coming right up to the Newfields border there. You know, I do plan probably by early May to come up with something that the homeowners can read to maybe help them with the new batch mosquitoes and their options for dealing with it. But you know, this is going to be more than normal, and it's unfortunate. This is going to impact a lot of people, a lot of businesses. I guess it'll make people think twice about cutting that budget, but who knows? I know money's tight right now.
Beyond the dollars and cents, the other difficult part of this is that there was actually a vote at deliberative session to do this. trying to tie our hands in terms of the legislative body said, we're cutting this. And so, to your point, I'm not sure what is workable for this year. Obviously, next year it will be an issue that we'll address towards the back part of this year as we go through the budget. But a specific vote taken by the body is, I think it ties our hands for the most part.
You know, we're gonna be monitoring the mosquitoes, sending them for disease testing, so, you know, that's certainly gonna be a factor we'll have to deal with if something comes back positive, and heaven forbid there's a human case, because that's happened, or horses. You know, it is what it is at this point.
Yeah. No, look, I understand and I appreciate the information. It's certainly more informative than what we had on the night of the delivery session. Certainly allows us to better approach this come next year's budget.
And I think people don't get to see that.
Yep.
You know, they can barely see the salt marshes in their fields unless you're on them.
Unless you own property, exactly.
Unless you-
Or you're on a boat. Exactly.
So it's something most people aren't aware of until suddenly they're walking from their car to their house and they're getting swarmed, and the kids are trying to go up the yard, so. Bug spray and, you know, long pants. The problem is the salt marsh mosquitoes bite you during the day. It's not a mosquito.
Not an evening.
It's sunset. It's completely different mosquito.
Yep.
So I know we cut 15,000.
Yeah.
What is the amount that costs to do the salt marsh spraying? I can't imagine it was just 15,000.
Well, it's the biggest amount of product that we use is put on the salt marshes because it is every 2 weeks, constant, all summer, and the labor. And, you know, I think it was worded to me that the intent was to not spray the salt marshes.
Correct.
That's right.
So what we're still doing is the fresh water and all the catch basins.
Right.
So it's.
Is it everything online as opposed to in the river?
You know, it's barely enough to cover what we do.
That's what I was wondering what the split was, if you had like a breakdown of what you do for the freshwater and the catch basins versus saltwater spraying and how that all breaks out.
Yeah, the salt marshes occupy a great deal more of our time and effort through the 6 months of the mosquito control season. Freshwater is heavy in the spring, and then it wanes because a lot of species don't keep going, they just stop, and that's, they have one generation. And then but the salt marshes go from April into October, so and you can't ignore it because of the volume that you see out there in every little cup of water. So.
How big is this cup? Sorry.
What's that?
How big is this cup? Is this like
It's
a one
almost
cup?
a cup of water, yeah, that's probably 8 ounces of water or less. And, you know, that's, in April, it's a low number. It gets worse as the season goes. Different species are more abundant. So it's nothing we can just say, I don't want to do it another week in a row. But last summer, it rained like constantly. We were constantly on the salt marshes. And it was just driving us crazy. And with heavier storms like they're expecting with, you know, climate change, it's probably going to be the norm. So we put probably 80% of the product that the bacteria is on the salt marshes compared to what the fresh water takes.
Are Stratton and Exeter doing the salt marshes?
It's us.
So we're the out man out.
Yeah, I haven't warned Straddle yet, or Exeter, but they're gonna get hit too. It's gonna have an impact, not just in the fields, because those mosquitoes are flying. So it's unfortunate. feel bad for striving to.
Are all the communities along the Bay treated, do you know?
Not Durham, but we cover a lot of the Bay communities and all of the Atlantic communities. So the salt marshes have always been an important habitat because of the volume, even before they were implicated with triple E mosquitoes, just the volume of mosquitoes became a problem for tourism. So that was one factor why a lot of towns started mosquito control. And of course, triple E is the other factor, which comes and goes about every 5 years.
And West Nile seems to be the biggest threat for pets.
Yeah, it's a very good, easy disease for the mosquitoes to pick up. Of course, there was a human case of West Nile in Northampton this past October. Triple E is the scarier disease, though. It's much more deadly. It's got a very high mortality rate, and if you're not at that stage, it still can be debilitating. Jamestown is like West Nile, but it does kill people occasionally. So, it's not good.
All right.
But long sleeves, bug spray, and run to the door. Keep your lawn trim, and,
Keep your pets
yeah, your pets too, don't forget your pets.
filled with lots of limited.
Yeah, they get dog heartworm from the same species, and hopefully everybody's giving dogs heartworm. So that's not as big a problem up here as it is in some states,
Mhm.
but in terms of homeowners.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anything else,
So
Jen?
we'll keep you posted as.
Thank you, Kim, for coming back, Sarah. Really good. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right. Thank you. All right. Next up, Ray. How are you?
Good.
So, I emailed both you guys and Ray the draft, it's a draft.
I did not put in the facts, it's my.
Oh, of course, I know. Okay, so, it's a draft, version of the purchase and sale for the Main Street Arc.
Okay.
And it's just draft right now. I just asked Ray if he would come in and if he had any initial questions, obviously nothing's formalized yet.
No, we don't meet until 2nd of May, so.
Okay. Okay, so great. So maybe, I didn't realize that, right? So you guys will talk about it at May 2nd.
Yes.
Did you have a chance to read it over? I
Oh,
mean,
yeah, definitely.
any major issues cross your mind?
No, I didn't see any, no.
I did too. I mean, I did just an initial read of it. Seemed to be everything that we talked about. Okay, so if you guys meet on May 2nd,
Yes.
see if you're good with it.
I'll get in touch with
Yeah, and if not, I can print off a hard copy and I'll leave it downstairs for you. I'll leave it in the selectman's box just in case. I'll do that first thing tomorrow.
I got a question.
Yeah, go right ahead.
So I read through the contract, the purchase and sale. What's the point of the first refusal? I thought we were just gonna go.
So, several people in town asked that we do the right of first refusal, so I asked them to put the language in there. I don't know if they'll have an objection to it or not. Again, this is a draft, but we put the language in. If the water and sewer department's gonna get rid of it, town has basically a right to match whatever offer they get. That's all it is. Put it this way, I don't expect that the town's gonna want it back. But as I said, there are people in town who are very desirous of what goes in there or doesn't go in there, and so this was an acknowledgement of some of the concerns that came up. Again, we'll work with you on a purchase and sale, but that's the rationale for that.
I see a problem with the language in that, and I'm not looking at it. It's just a little confusing. Just throwing that out
Mhm.
for reference.
This was drafted by town council.
Yep.
So,
I still am confused by
Yep.
it, for what it's worth.
Well, feel free to reach back to Derek
Okay.
and if you have questions about it. Absolutely.
I didn't come for that reason.
Oh, great. You got another reason. You're still up.
I came to support Deb.
Oh.
And requested to put a bench down at the town landing.
Okay,
Her father was part of the town for many years. He was a water and sewer commissioner for 49 years. He did a lot for this town, and I think it would be well deserved to allow her to put a bench down there in his honor.
I went down to the river to see what was already down there, and to see how much room there was, and I brought this picture. And this one's a wooden bench. And this is I guess, concrete bench maybe, I'm not sure. The bench that I purchased, my Kells had built up in Vermont, and I bought the best they had. So it's going to be a beautiful bench. It's been delivered to Newmarket, and he and his team are ready to install it professionally down in the river. So just a couple of bullet points. I appreciate Gary's support, and other people that aren't here to say something about it. For those who don't know, my dad was the longest resident that ever lived in New Years. He was shy 1 month of living here 95 years. My mother lived here 80 years. That's 175 years. For 49 years, he worked alongside the river and he loved it down there. He fished when he was a child down there. He did the grounds care for this down at the sewer plant, and he took the readings around town at some down there at the river. I think the bench represents the loyalty and commitment and volunteering that they did over their lifetime in Newfields. My mom taught kindergarten here for many years in her home. She volunteered as one of the women fireflies that represented the fire department, and my dad was a volunteer fireman. I'm asking the board to allow me to memorialize all that my parents did for the town that they loved by approving the installation of a bench down at Riverside to be professionally installed. The bench is finished and awaiting installation. And I would like permission to have that done. And it looks to me that, based on when I went down and looked around, there is room right alongside the river that I don't believe is intruding on anyone's property other than town property. And I think I have a case for my parents, and I'd like to fulfill my promise to my dad before he died that it wouldn't be the river.
questions, comments?
We've talked about this before, correct?
Now I can't hear you.
Excuse me. Back at teaching after a week off, I'm losing my voice. You've been in here talking about this maybe in February, correct? We discussed this bench and leaving it in town, and that there was a potential issue with multiple people wanting to bring memorials in. Michael, correct? That
Yes,
was part of the conversation that.
that you
Not
are
the night
correct.
I was here. The night I was here, I proposed that Sue McKinnon had said she would love to have a bench outside her office.
Yes.
And I had asked about putting it there, and I was declined by Betsy. She said no. She said if you put it there, everybody else is going to wonder why they couldn't put them there. So that was no. And she suggested I just buy a brick and put it up at the school, and somebody said those bricks are all wrong. And I said, well, I've already purchased the bench. And in terms of other people wanting to put benches down there, I'm here to represent my dad, but in terms of that, I would like to say something that the select board might want to think about for the future. In talking with Mike Pelzar the other day, who owns the funeral home in Newmarket, Ken Pelzar, he took me down to his cemetery last year when I bought this bench to show me what he has down there for his family. And he told me recently when he called me, he said, we've had to tighten some of the rules because everybody wants their bench down there at our river, at the cemetery. And he goes, people that don't even live here, have never lived here, want their benches down there. So we've had to tighten up what's going on. And he said that's something that your select board might want to consider in the future, is extraordinary that my father be allowed to have a bench on the other side.
There are 2 other benches down there right now. One is for Dave Beasley,
Mm-hmm.
a long-term resident of town, and the other one is Ted Nelson, who was a sewer commissioner for many years.
I didn't know Ted. When was Ted in town? I'm sure long before me.
Ted and his family grew up in down there.
Mhm.
Are those the 2 benches that were placed by the Boy Scouts?
No,
Where are those benches?
it's a wooden bench.
Oh, it's the wooden bench?
It's the
There's
wooden
only
bench.
one?
Yeah.
And you said that it was in Newmarket that you talked to? Was it up in Newmarket?
Yeah, his name is, he owns the Kent Pelzar, his name is Mike Pelzar. And you mentioned somebody from Minnesota's down there, and he said.
No, and again, you know, the issue was raised, I think, last time, and I still think it's a valid issue, which is, we can't leave it open-ended, because exactly what you're talking about will occur here. I have little doubt of that. And I think it's something that we need to think about how we do it and the best way to do it. I'm wondering if we should look at that, and my guess is, as a longtime resident, we can probably put criteria around it that reflects that. I'm not sure what that would be, though.
Greg was also the recipient of the Boston Post.
Boston Post game, yeah, absolutely, yep, yep.
I think it's probably prudent to develop some guidelines and then.
As do I.
Well, I think there should be guidelines, yes.
So let us do this. I'm going to contact the town of Newmarket, find out what guidelines they're utilizing. We should probably talk about it, enact a policy. My assumption is we'll enact a policy that's going to allow this to happen in some way, shape, or form, assuming that we can come up with something that makes sense. If you can give us a little time to be able to do that.
Well, if you're going to speak directly with Mike Pelzar,
I'll talk to the town of Newmarket. If they have a policy in place,
okay.
I want to know what policy they enacted and how.
Okay. I told Mike I would call him tomorrow after I came to this meeting and let him know, because he said he's got to go over there. And I said, well.
Is it a stone bench?
It's beautiful granite.
Okay, great.
It's got my parents' name on it,
Yep.
has an inscription on it, and on the opposite side that faces the river. I didn't realize that people needed to come get permission, because other people were putting benches all over the place. So I went ahead and thinking that he would be able to have a bench down there. The front side of the bench says, enjoy the view. These are things that I spoke with my dad about. So the side that says, enjoy the view will be facing the river, and the side that faces this side will have my parents' name on it.
Okay.
And he told me that it will withstand, because I didn't want something that's going to look like junk in a couple of years. And so that's why I paid the extra. And the inscriptions, it's a granite bench, a regular gray granite. And the inscriptions are in black lettering, but there's a layer on top of the writing so that the black lettering won't disintegrate.
It sounds lovely.
And it will be professionally installed, nobody's going to sit on it and tip over. It will be concreted in, and, so in that regard, I think it would be appropriate. And I think there's a lot of people that go down to the landing, and I think it's a great place, and that's where I told them I would put it.
What's the size of the bench, do you know?
Yeah, it's like a 4 foot or 42 inch.
Okay, okay.
It's not some, somebody go out and thing, but I was going to say something, I guess I'll say it anyways. I wanted it to be lovely, and I had my choice when I did the walk down with them, and I could have got black granite, but I chose to get gray granite because I didn't want to look like I was upstaging anybody down there. So I wanted it to blend in like all the rest of them. And so it's just your gray granite. Finished, it's not rough, it's all finished.
Well, if I can ask, let us talk to the town of Newmarket about policy. We're obviously going to have to identify where down there
Okay?
it'll go. And our next meeting is May 10th.
It's
So,
my birthday.
can you hold off until the 10th so that we can do our homework and great. Then we'll try to do that, and come May 10th, we'll be able to probably make a decision about this formally. And hopefully, maybe we'll circulate a policy to deal with the issue in a broader scale.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea, Carol, so I might mark that out, because then I was thinking about it, that, I didn't know that, you gotta get permission. And I don't think we have a policy that says you do, so in the future, what will happen in terms of, if you go down there one day and you go, oh, there's 6 benches, who put these benches here, what are we gonna do with them? You know what I mean? You put them on some, anyway, so I think that the problem.
Yeah, and that was the concern I think that was raised, which is, if you leave it open-ended, maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, next year, somebody comes and says, I would like a bench, or you let them do it, why can't I? And I think that if we're setting a policy, then that's the rationale for why you can't, why just anybody can't. So.
Some people would probably have to come and, you have to get permission to put a bench in town.
Right, but I think that you want to set the criteria so it's not even just a resident, right? There's going to have to be something far more substantial than I lived in town, I want to put a bench down by the river.
Yeah, like service,
Yeah,
to
exactly.
town, like the, prior sewer commissioner,
Yeah.
those who have.
Yeah.
We'll have to look at that, and we'll talk to the town market what they're doing to.
Yeah, because you would think, I would suspect that one of the main criteria is you have had to have lived here at some point in your life, to have lived in town.
Right, but you don't want that to be the only criteria, right? That's a little too open-ended,
Yeah,
so.
for example, if somebody's moved to town 3 years ago and their parents lived out west, and they're like, well, I want my parents bench here.
Right. So,
Okay, well, I appreciate looking
All right.
at it, and I will be back on the 10th.
sounds good. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you guys for your support.
Okay, next item up, dock update. As we had discussed in prior meetings, and I think Wynn was in here. The dock was damaged over the winter from the ice flows. A couple weekends ago, a bunch of people in town went down and basically repaired the dock, put in new posts, new railing. The railing's no longer the rope railing, which was not very good. It's pressure treated wood now. They put the dock into, so the dock's in place now. Primex has agreed to reimburse the town $500, $515, I think.
I didn't see it.
I think it's something, $515. So we're getting some money back from the damage, which should go to cover the cost of doing the installation of the new dock structure. So, any questions?
This is what, Wynn was working on?
Exactly. Yep. Jeff Kuchar was also really helpful in putting the new dock in. He was brought the lumber, he bought the lumber, and there's a dozen people down there to put it in place, so it was very good. All right, next item, resident concern, 399 Piscassic. So 399 Piscassic Road is out where Mass Road comes off of Route 87, Piscassic. There's a house on the left-hand side that was owned by a family. The parents passed, the sons moved away, one of the sons lives up in Maine. The house has basically been abandoned. They haven't been paying the property taxes on the property, and it is possible that the town will be in a position to take the property come this June if property taxes aren't paid. Why this is, the family hasn't put the house up for sale, I don't know. But it is abandoned, and it is, there's a rat issue with some of the neighbors, most likely emanating from this property. So, the concern was raised, can the town do something? The answer is, town can't really do anything with the property, it's not our property, although it may be potentially become the town's property later this summer. So just to be aware, we may be taking it. My guess is what we would do is just hire a real estate agent and sell the property. I don't think the town has any use for it. There's a process that we'll have to go through to formally deal with the property. Not that we really want it, I'd rather somebody just pay their property taxes, but that's not the case.
How much are the taxes, Mike?
I want to say $15,000.
That's in arrears.
It's in arrears. I think it's on that order, you know.
And has there been any contact with the son
Yep.
that drops the dog?
Yeah, the son up in Maine, Sue reached out to him. She's been doing the standard notices. I don't know that he knows what he wants to do. And like I said, it's basically a three-year rolling process. After the third year, if you haven't paid the property taxes, that's when the town can put a lien on the property and take the property.
Do we have the ability, either through the select board or the health officer, to go by and take pictures, look at it, and other people buy it?
I have.
Yeah. This is a health issue for the town. Can you clean up the trash?
Yeah, but they're not there.
I understand that Sons of Maine, this is a good opportunity for you to show some good faith.
Yeah, they're not paying the property taxes. I don't think that they're gonna do anything.
I'm just throwing it out for some way to try and address it, and maybe at least get it cleaned up as far as the neighbors mitigate that health issue.
Yeah, you can, why don't you reach out to the health officer, see if he wants to
Okay.
go over there and do something. Again, I'm not sure what the heck we're gonna do to enforce this for somebody it's one thing if they were actually a resident and
Understand?
living on the property. This gets a lot harder. In essence,
They
we're.
introduced you to a certain property down by the school.
But even then, John, that took us years,
Yeah.
right? And this may be resolved in a couple months where they stop paying the property taxes and the town's in a position to either take the property or, I don't know what else we would do. My guess is we take the property and just try to offload it so that somebody will come in there, probably knock down that house and build a new house. I think that's probably the fastest way for us to resolve an issue that we don't have much control of. Now, once we take the property, we could go in there, hire an exterminator or do something with it, but until we take the property, we don't have any right to do it.
What's the process for taking it?
So, it's a tax lien, and again, you have to go through the process with proper notice. Every year, they don't pay the property taxes, we publish a notice for that. After 3 years, if they haven't paid 3 years worth of property tax, you can do something. As an example, Hazel avoided that by basically paying his 3 years ago taxes every year instead of paying anything current or bringing anything up to date. I'm not sure what motivation these owners have. Maybe they show up in June, pay to basically defer it, at which point in time I think Kobe, your point about the town trying to do something may make sense, but it just may be a faster process if the town takes it to then have somebody go in there and do an extermination.
So are you saying in June, it'll be 3 years?
Yep.
that they've been
Exactly.
noticed?
Delinquent, correct. I think it's June 29th, do you know, Keisha? I think it's the end of June. I think it's the end of June, if I'm remembering correctly.
That last sentence that Sue wrote up, occasionally Chris Boschman drops his pit bull off at the house while he goes to work. At times he tells me he's in the neighborhood.
Periodically, he lives up in Maine, yeah. But nobody's living it on the property,
Oh, it's a mess.
yeah.
Concurrently, off the top of your head, not to jump ahead, but what's the limit in town for vehicles unregistered on a piece of property?
Off the top of my head, I don't know.
Every town's different, so.
Yeah, you have to look at the ordinance.
It's 390's got
I have to imagine it's probably not more than 1 or 2 tops. All right, any other questions about 399 Fiscasset? No? All right, abatement, you should have a small abatement for map 207 lot 6, abating $20.02, dealing with lien fees that should not have been charged. Any questions about that?
No.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, second by vote, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Great. I have an original here for signatures. Thank you. Prior meeting minutes. Guys want to take a minute to look through those?
Have we put out a bid for, or request for proposals for the new waste management? Or
Have not. We need to prepare some bid documents so that we can send that out. Obviously, you guys will see it beforehand. But, the goal is to get that out sometime, I think, around mid-year. So we'll shoot for that. Get it out in June, have plenty of time to go through the bid process before making a decision towards the end of the year.
Do you have this discussion about Hazel in writing that you could forward me, just so you don't have to rehash it?
We don't have anything formal.
Or like, were you emailing back and forth, or were you phone call?
Phone call. And it was basically, Derek said he was gonna basically make a motion to the court. He was reaching out to their legal counsel. I don't think he's heard back. I haven't talked to him since our last meeting.
Was that something that we had, I don't think that seizing the property was something that we had spoken about before, was it? Was that something that we were going to
So
eventually have to?
yeah, no. It is a situation of, if he's not gonna, if the court approves, basically, court has approved the cleanup fees. Haven't got any response from them about how he's going to pay. In addition, the court approved the 192 violation fees. The whole idea was that Derek was going to reach out to their lawyer and say, look, let's make a deal here. Still hasn't heard back from them. It's been a while.
Yeah.
He was going to make one more attempt, and if that doesn't work, he was basically going to petition the court to say, we're getting no response. We're going to lien the property. Less than ideal for us,
Right.
but at the same time, if we get no response in terms of getting our fees back,
Right.
even the 19,000 cleanup fee,
Yeah.
we have to take action. So that's
That
all.
was nice.
Yep, exactly. And Derek's been reaching out to his counsel really the last couple of months, trying to get his counsel, and no response, so Derek's
This
basically.
was awarded in like February, wasn't it?
Yes, it was, absolutely. And so, no. It was awarded last year, last fall, after we did the cleanup. And then we went to court, and then it was in November or December, I think we received the court approval.
Right.
He was entering negotiations in January, the court.
Right.
Yeah.
This,
Yep,
yeah,
absolutely.
this was February.
So it's been a long process. And so Derek basically said, I don't know what else to do. If they won't talk to me, I'm gonna go to the petition the court that the town can take the lien. Hopefully that moves them. But, if they refuse to talk, there's not much Derek can do.
Yeah. And then the garden club, when did you
Yeah.
want to revisit that?
So, yeah, actually, I had that on my list of other open items, so let's just approve the minutes and then we can talk about that. Do you guys have any other changes to the minutes?
No,
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes for Tuesday, April 12th as written.
second.
Second from Hobie, all in favor? Aye? Great. So yeah, Jackie brought up the garden club, it was certainly one of the things I had here. So they made a request for the $49,931. You know, that from the last meeting, that they were looking to do the Woodland Path on. I didn't know if you guys had any other thoughts since then, after reviewing the proposal in more detail, about the request of the use of funds.
I was present at the Conservation Commission meeting where they had originally proposed this, so
Mhm.
I think it's a fabulous idea.
Okay.
Decent use of funds.
Hobie?
I'm good with it.
Okay. Is there a motion then?
I'll make a motion to grant the garden club's request for ARPA funds in the amount of $4,000.
4931.
4931.
All right, second?
I will second that.
Hobie will second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Great. All right, the other item I just want to mention, at least that I have, just as a reminder, May 7th is going to be the cleanup at the, down by the water and the sewer treatment plant, when everybody can cart over all the stuff that they've dredged out from their spring cleaning and get rid of it, that they can't put curbs out. Can we make sure that that's out on the board soon?
Yes, that's right.
Just so everybody knows and can plan on it.
And remind me, this is not hazardous materials. This
Correct.
is giant
Not-
dump.
And yeah, there's flyers downstairs in case you need one, or, you know, if somebody's asking, there's flyers downstairs about what's allowed and what's not.
Don't we usually mail it?
I think Sue typically will email it out to
And I
everybody.
have got an email.
Yeah.
Email has it.
Yeah, I thought it was. You know, it's free on items, we do a small nominal charge because we have to pay to.
Yep.
Yep. All right, other items that you guys have,
Jackie?
open items? No?
I have a point of contact with CSX now, the railroad.
Oh, great.
And so we've been playing phone tag the past days. But Peter Bragdon, who's their lobbyist in Concord, says the guy wants to talk with us and move forward on that. So I should have something definitely, at least some guidance of where we might be going by the next select board meeting.
So yeah, our select board meetings in May, I think are the 10th and
31st is what we said.
10th and the 31st, yeah. Just want to make sure everybody's aware of those. Okay?
And then the voting issue that is now attached to a bill that's in the Senate.
Mm-hmm.
And they've got a piece of legislation they're going to attach it to, but that's working through the sausage making
Oh, great.
process.
Did I read that this is to email
I'm sorry?
ballots?
No, it's, so they can email, they'll be able to request the absentee by email. They will be able to receive the ballot by email, but they'll have to return the ballot by USPS or other carrier to maintain the security of the ballot.
Yeah, this allows them, it basically takes out the portion of sending a physical ballot overseas, just speeds the process up for,
And it's just for municipal elections?
Municipal elections.
you know, just.
About range of 3-week US mail and then 3 weeks to get it back.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, I know.
Yeah,
so that's what precipitated this.
the primaries and the general elections fall under federal rules because there's federal office holders associated with that. So those, and the windows for that are much wider.
Yep.
So. All right, any other business?
I do have one question.
Yeah?
So that cemetery, Michael, that you told me about that's across the road there?
Yeah, the Colbert.
Yeah, the Concord.
Yeah.
So Jody got interested in that. She was wanting to look at it. And Bill Tebow did an assessment of it and plotted them all. But they're all just lying on the ground and all broken.
Oh, the Colbert one.
Yeah.
Yes.
And branches and limbs, and it almost seems like disrespectful to just, is there some path that might be viable to pursue to at least
So it's a private cemetery, it's on private property, it's not on town cemetery. My suggestion is we reach out to Lynn Sweet.
Yep.
Talk to the cemeteries people. Not that they will necessarily do anything with it, but you might want to talk to them about what can be done. Is there somebody you can talk to who knows how to restore cemeteries? The other one you might want to talk to also is Sam Burchell,
Okay.
who's done a lot of work on
Done.
the Hilton,
Yep.
right? That's a town one, we're responsible for that. You know, Locust Grove here is town one. The one out on the corner of Bald Hill is a town cemetery. Obviously, the one out on 108
Yeah,
is town. But I would talk to them.
Just makes the liaison a bit.
Yeah, just if again, as a private cemetery, it's not the town's
Totally understand.
authority and responsibility, but if they have some ideas.
It's the history of town.
Oh, no, I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree with you. And that one, I think of all the private cemeteries in town, that one's probably in the worst shape. It's because it's sitting on the Hutchinson property and nobody took care of it.
Yeah. One stone is broken in half standing, the rest are all just flat.
Have you looked at Bill Tebow's?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, so, you know, he documented a bunch
It's
of.
right there in that notebook back there.
Yep. Great. Any other business? No? I will make a motion to adjourn at 7:48.
Second.
Second from Jackie, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, guys. Before you go, there's just some manifests here, I apologize, I didn't circulate the right folder. These.
It's up to the streaming,
What's that?
the streaming system. The,
So we needed to get a new encoder.
yeah,
And I don't think, I gotta talk to the Town Hall Stream. The guy at Town Hall Streams was away last week. And, I think they need to get it on the system. There's several manifests there to take a look at. But, we should have it back up now. It's been an IT week here. Between the emails, streaming service. Yeah, that new encoder looks a lot more robust. Minutes, around 6:43 is when we went in, and 7 o'clock came out. Jackie, are you guys off this week? Schools?
I won't know, my kids are off.
Your kids are off. They're loving that, I'm sure.
I do love that. Let me sleep 5 minutes.
Oh, your dad, no.
Michael, these things?
No, I haven't.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are the rules. So I got all the signatures, there may be another manifest down under with the green checks are payroll, blue checks are expenses, and typically there's a manifest.
Last week of the month, and it's 3 months, just and registration and stuff.
Well, that's where it's confused.
Oh,